today, Karen Brown with you in place of Scott Hudspeth, and today's class has definitely gotten a lot of people very intrigued. We're going to be talking about why you should do the opposite when it comes to social media, and I'm super happy to have Sean Nilsson of City Blast with us today. Sean's got some great stuff he's going to share about perhaps why certain things you've heard about social media are wrong and what direction you should be going. Right, Sean?
Absolutely, yeah. I thought, you know what, this would be an interesting presentation to give because a lot of people obviously feel like, you know, they've got to sort of stick to the program in terms of what, oh, sorry, I'm seeing, can everyone hear us? Can you just write in if you can hear us on there? Hello, hello.
Coming
yep,
through,
okay.
Yep, sounds good on my end, so I think...
So we have some couple people who are there, but we've got a lot of people hearing us. So, okay, sorry, yeah, you know, a lot of people go around social media gurus, etc., talking about kind of what you should do and what you shouldn't do, and I feel like they don't qualify a lot of those statements with when you should and shouldn't do certain things, and so we're going to kind of tear apart I call them 7 myths of social media that a lot of social media speakers will talk about, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of emails about this from some of my friends in the industry when this gets around, but that's fine. And yeah, thanks for having me on.
Happy to have you here.
Cool. I guess I'll get underway. Obviously, as always, you guys, if you want to ask any questions, feel free to type questions into the question box, and we'll be answering questions as we go along as well. But I'll get started. So some of you know who I am. I am Sean Nilsson. I'm the founder of cityblast.com. I was a real estate agent, fully licensed until this year. I actually hung it up and passed the business along to my team, who now operates the business out of Toronto. I'm based in New York now and can't manage my real estate business anymore. But I started out as a real estate agent in Toronto. My first year in real estate, I did 24 deals and $165,000 in commissions directly off of my Facebook wall. So I became something of a speaker in the social media world, at least at my office and some offices around me. And I went in and gave seminars a lot like this one and spoke to other agents about how to use social media to generate leads and to do deals. And people would come up to me at the end of the presentations and say, hey, you know what, I really love your system and it seems to be working great. Would you consider doing it for me? So sort of by accident, I founded a social media management company. And that company grew over time, and at first I had 1, 2, 5, 10 clients who were all real estate agents. Now the company known as City Blast, we have over 7,500 clients all across North America, all of them real estate professionals, and we have another sister site, Mortgage Mingler, which handles the same sort of thing for loan officers. So we are the largest social media management company in the world for real estate agents, and we use social media to generate leads and to drive business for all of our clients and our member agents. I'm going to give you 3 quick statistics here just to set the tone, and some of you have seen me talk about this before, but I want you to understand that social media is a massive opportunity, and I think most people on the line today will understand that, but just by way of an introduction to social media, over 90% of home searches begin online, which is an incredible statistic. I think it was 92 or 94% this year came out of NAR. And that's an exciting number. If 90% of your potential clients are doing any one thing, you'd probably want to pay attention to that. But what it tells me is that over 90% of home searches are beginning without the real estate agent. So it used to be that Mr. and Mrs. home buyer or seller would you know, make a decision to buy or sell real estate at dinner time, and then by next morning they'd call the real estate agent and said, okay, what are the next steps? What do I do here? That's not the case anymore. Now they're starting on their own, and they're going online to access information and to try to learn about the real estate process. So they're looking up agents, they're looking up transactions, they're looking up properties, they're looking at mortgage rates and legal info and all that kind of thing. And that's a really interesting change because it means that you've got over 90% of people who have made a home buying or selling decision, and now they're floating around in the online space without having committed to a real estate agent. That's a massive pool of potential leads for you, and that's something that you should be definitely paying attention to. Another statistic that kind of goes along with that, people spend 3 times more time on Facebook versus any other website in the world. Obviously, super incredible statistic here. If you were I was once told if you want to catch fish, you need to fish where there are fish. In the case of the internet, the fish are on Facebook, and just by sheer mathematics, your chances of finding your next potential lead on Facebook are that much greater than any other website. Here's another statistic that I just actually found a few weeks ago. 85% of consumers expect businesses to be active on social media. And the key word there is expect. No longer are we in the era where social media is really an option for your business. It's not an option anymore. It's no more of an option than having a website is an option. So if you are somebody who, a number of years ago said, what, this website thing is a fad, it's going to go away, and you're now saying, well, I'm not really doing social media, I don't know how important it is, you're in the same boat again. This is like critically important that you have social media now. As a quick example of why that is, go and look at the amount of traffic that you have going to your website, and then look at the amount of friends that you have on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and how easily you can communicate with those people. If you even have 100 friends and you send out 10 messages a month, you have the opportunity to get in front of people 1,000 times. I would find it hard to believe that many people on the call today would have over 1,000 visitors to their website in a given month. And if you do, that's great. You're probably doing a lot of work or spending a lot of money to get that. People don't just go to your real estate website, but people are already on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and that's a place where you can communicate with them where they already are, rather than trying desperately to lure them to your website. And we're going to talk a bit more about that as we go along here.
People are looking for you on social media as well, so
yep.
that last slide is very key. Not only do they expect you to be on there, but they're looking for you there because, as Sean just said, that's where they're at already.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'll show you an example here. We'll just jump over to, I'm just going online here for a second. Let's Google me. Watch what happens when I Google myself. Sean Nilsson, my Facebook comes up first, then my real estate website, then my LinkedIn, YouTube, an article about me, Twitter, and on and on. Your social, someone takes your business card, the first thing they're going to go do is go home and Google you. And when they Google you, they're either going to find or not find your social media. Not finding it is not good, and finding it and then clicking on it and you haven't updated it since 2011 is also not good. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's become massively important for you to make sure that your social is up to speed. So you guys all know the title of the talk today, do the opposite. Everything you've been told about social media is dead wrong and it's killing your online business. So I'm being a bit dramatic there, but I'm going to give you 7 different things that most social media experts would say to do, and I'm going to tell you to at least consider doing the opposite of what they're telling you, and I'm going to tell you why. So we can get underway here. Let's get ready to debunk 7 major myths and hear the truth, okay? And quickly before we start, my opinions, our opinions, are backed by data. So a lot of time you'll hear from social media experts who are kind of going on what has worked for them, or what they've heard or what they've read. We're not going on any of that sort of stuff. We take an empirical approach. We've done 1.7 million social media posts on the topic of real estate to our clients over the last number of years. That means we have 1.7 million times that we've collected data on clicks, likes, comments, shares, and tracked it all and put it into engagement scores. So we know what works, what doesn't work, what generates leads, and what annoys the crap out of people. We reach over 5.6 million people a day. It's like, I don't know what the last check that I did on the major folks in real estate, but we are more than Zillow, Trulia, Airbnb, NAR, and most of the major brands all combined in terms of our social media reach daily. We've generated almost 1 million total real estate leads for our clients. So we have been tracking all of the results, and the stuff that we're going to share with you today is not based around some sort of whimsical idea of what someone should do in social media. This stuff's all based around factual evidence that we've collected. So let's get underway. Let's make this conversational and try to see where we can take it. Truth number 1, you should market on your personal page. Okay? And this debate rages on, and every time I do a social media presentation, people ask me this question, so it's not like people are unaware of this sort of dichotomy here, but you should market on your personal page. Now, everything in this presentation is going to come with a caveat. You don't have to market on your personal page. But here's what I find a lot of agents are doing, and this is why this truth is in here. A lot of agents will create a business page, and then what do they need? They need people to follow their business page so that they can market to them. So they post on their Facebook and say, hey, all my friends, I just created a business page. You should like it so you can follow me. And then guess who likes their business page? Their family and their best friends and all the people who are most supportive of that person in the first place. And then those people are now following their business page, and then they turn around and they use outbound marketing, me first type of marketing, to promote themselves on their business page rather than using inbound added value content where you're helping other people and giving them interesting stuff to look at and all that kind of thing. So effectively, you're taking all the people who are going to use you as a real estate agent regardless, and you're moving them onto a business page, and then you're marketing the heck out of them and sort of punishing them for being your biggest fans. And this is not really an effective approach in real estate. The other thing is most people neglect putting any sort of personal content on their business page, and that is partly why they've created the business page in the first place, is because they want to separate church and state, so to speak. But what you lack there is a connection to people, and people in the real estate business, or people, sorry, when dealing with real estate agents, they want to work with people they like, they want to work with people they trust, people who are knowledgeable and consistent. And you don't project any sort of personality if you don't have any personal information on there. So we found that it's very effective to market on your personal page. Now, some people will be saying, hey, but I've heard that Facebook says don't market on your personal page. And what I say to that is inbound marketing isn't marketing in the sense that Facebook's talking about. So if you're posting great articles, videos, information, etc. onto your personal page and sharing things like, hey, here's the top 10 new restaurants in the city, or here are 5 tips for renovating your home to get maximum ROI, or here are the top 10 fastest appreciating neighborhoods in the city. You sharing those articles is no different than a person just personally sharing great articles on their page. And by doing that, I think you completely avoid, first of all, annoying people, but also being offside at all with Facebook. And again, we've done 1.7 million posts, and we've never had a single complaint. So certainly, this is up for debate and for you to decide what you want to do yourself, but I would definitely consider putting your personal page in the mix in terms of what the sort of personal page versus business page dichotomy. Did you have any thoughts on that?
Absolutely, and I mean, I couldn't agree more with Sean, and I know there's a question that came through, you know, hey, aren't you annoying people when you're constantly advertising themselves? But as Sean just mentioned, you're doing it in a way where you're providing value to an audience that knows, likes, and trusts you, your family and friends, and so as long as it's not the me type of posting and, hey, check out what I have to offer, you know, absolutely an article on the ROI or something like that, a lot of people would find benefit in that. And so varying the post that you're putting is essential to being successful with it.
Yeah, absolutely. You never, ever, ever, ever do we advocate putting me content. You should virtually never do it. There is no cause for that in social media, and we're going to talk about that in a minute here, but you should always be focused on the other people, and if you're always focusing on other people, you're going to not annoy people because you're focusing on things that they like and they would be interested in.
Exactly.
Truth number 2, you should post listings. So a lot of times I'll hear social media gurus, I won't say quote-unquote gurus, say that you should never post listings, and we could not agree with that less. Posting listings is the way that most of the leads are generated through social media that actually lead to concrete sales of real estate. City Blast in the last 12 months, as an example, for our clients, we've generated an estimated $58 million in commissions in the past 12 months. more than 70% of the leads came from listings. So posting listings is a massively effective way to generate business through your Facebook. How do we reconcile this with what I just said, which is not being me, and marketing the heck out of yourself? One thing is we found you don't want to post more than 1 to 1.5 listings per week. So you cannot post a listing every day. You need to space out the listings, but more importantly than that is you need to treat listings, and listen to what I'm going to say here because this is critically important. You need to treat listings like a story or like an article or like a piece of content. So I don't know if anybody here watches Home and Garden Television, but when you watch Home and Garden Television, 50% of the shows are about people walking through listings. They go and they visit listings and they look at the listing and they walk around, and millions of people are tuning in to watch people walk through listings. Why? Because listings are great content. Listings actually have a bad rep in terms of their ability to be content, and that's because people are not treating them like content. But if you write a story that's interesting and create a mystery and create a little beginning, middle, and end, why does this person want to click on this listing? Oh, because they want to find out what the amazing backyard patio and pool looks like, or how do you fit 4 bedrooms into a downtown loft? Check it out. Whatever it is, you're creating a story around that listing, you're creating some intrigue, and the person's going to get some resolution by going and looking at the listing. Did you have any thoughts on listings?
And people are curious, I know I am, about what other listings are out there in different markets, and
Absolutely.
so I very well may click on a listing that's not even anywhere remotely close to where I'm located, but the knowledge and curiosity factor definitely plays into it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had massive success with listings. One thing that's great about posting listings from a purely selfish perspective for the agent is when you post listings, you get people who are really interested in the buying or selling process, or who are potentially very close to doing a deal. So I would post listings. When I started out, I would call up other agents and ask for permission to post their listings on my wall. And I would post up their listings, and then people would say, hey, does this have any parking? And I'd say, yeah, sure it has parking. There are actually 3 units available in the building that have parking that are all in the same price range. Why don't we go on Saturday and do a little tour and check them out? And the person would go, sure. And you can close tons of deals by talking to the people who are most interested in doing real estate transactions. And those are the people, by and large, who are chatting with you about the listings that you're posting on your wall. So something to think about in terms of the idea of sharing listings. Remember to treat them as content. That's your golden rule for posting listings, and that's going to unlock a massive amount of business for you.
Definitely. And somebody's asking a good question here, Sean. If you don't have a listing, would you show someone else's listing on your social media?
100%. So what I did in my first year is, like I said, I called up other agents in my office who had great listings. I'd say, hey, I see you got 123 Mulberry Lane listed there. Do you mind if I put it out on my Facebook network, and I'll try to bring you a buyer? And if that person wasn't going to bring their own buyer to the table, they may as well advertise the listing far and wide and just get it sold, because they want the listing commission. And they would let me post the listings up. I would put them on my wall. It looked to other people like I was a great top producer and always had great properties out on my wall. And like I said, I would turn those people into buyer clients and get out there and do deals. I did 24 deals in my first year doing mostly that. One great thing about City Blast is you don't have to call around and ask the other agents. City Blast has a multi-patented technology, which is sort of becoming a bit of the buzz of the real estate industry, in that all of our clients can submit their listings. So if you're one of the City Blast clients, you can submit your listings into our social media experts, and we'll post them out onto the Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn accounts of all the other agents across your city without you ever having to do the manual slog of calling around, getting permission, blah, blah, blah. We do it for you. So each agent can submit their listings, and then those listings will be featured on the accounts of the other agents. It's just as simple as choosing listings as a content type if you want listings on your wall, and that's a great way to generate leads, as we said. So
nice. Is there a way to mix listings in with other content when you're posting?
Of course, 100%. We never post more than 1/3 listing content. You can't even request all listings to be posted on your wall because we have found that it doesn't work. You need to put other types of content in between to get the maximum results. And so we optimize your account for you. We allow you to choose 19 different styles of content, and listings is just one of them. So
Very
definitely
cool.
consider listings, but also consider posting other things with your listings. You don't want just a feed of all listings because it sort of loses the sheen of being content when you're just doing listing as well. So,
Definitely.
truth number 3, you should forget LinkedIn.
Now this is a big one. This one has caused a lot of ruckus on the invitation. So.
Yeah, so I mean, once again, there's a caveat here. There's a way to do this right and a way to do it wrong. But I would not recommend forgetting LinkedIn, but here's what a lot of people do, and what this really means is I talk to a lot of agents and they say, oh, I don't have the Facebook, and I don't have the Twitter and the Facebook. I just stick to my LinkedIn. And I'm not trying to make fun of anyone here, but a lot of people feel pretty stubborn about being just on LinkedIn because it's a business network. And I think you're doing yourself a massive disservice. We've analyzed nearly 8 million real estate interactions, and this is the results in terms of Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn with a weighted score for engagement. So are you actually getting leads through LinkedIn? Maybe, but Facebook is the undisputed king of engagement for your content that you're putting out. So if you're just hedging your entire bet or focusing your entire bet on LinkedIn, you may be missing out on a massive piece of the pie, which is to focus on Facebook specifically, but also Twitter is a good place to be. And I feel like a lot of agents focus specifically on LinkedIn because it's got that business focus to it, and that's great, but you're missing out, I think, on a lot of potential. Did you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. Absolutely. I mean, this look at the pie chart right here. I mean, that speaks alone in volume.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a LinkedIn profile. I'm not saying completely abandon LinkedIn and have it like covered in cobwebs, but I think that you'll find that you can have a lot more success through Facebook than you even possibly could through LinkedIn. And one thing that's cool about what we do is we update all of your social for you. So, we do your Facebook business page, your Twitter, and your LinkedIn. So in reality, the ideal mix, in my opinion, would be to have them all turned on, your Facebook fan page, your Twitter, and your LinkedIn, and keep your LinkedIn being updated with content so that you're staying consistent. But I wouldn't put my foremost sort of thought processes into expanding my LinkedIn specifically and trying to focus there. I think I would put Facebook in the driver's seat and have LinkedIn just sort of be taken care of on the back end. Here's another big one. Truth number 4, you should skip the blogging. So I can imagine that some folks may have seen that and their head exploded.
We definitely had some feedback on this strong claim as well.
Yeah, so once again, there's a caveat here. You don't necessarily need to skip blogging, and blogging can be super valuable. But I personally have sort of interesting opinions about blogging. And one of the biggest challenges with blogging is that it's so time-consuming for very minimal relative results. So what we're looking for here is efficiency and bang for your buck. It takes a lot of time. The ideal length of a blog post is 1,600 words. Okay, that's from Fast Company. That's a very reliable source. 1,600 words. I don't know if anyone here is blogging. 1,600 words is not a short blog article. Effort. 92% of companies who blog multiple times a day acquired a customer through their blog. And social media has 100% higher lead-to-close rate than outbound marketing. So take this all together, what it says to me is I can write 1,600 words multiple times a day and like gain a customer here and there. Or I can write maybe 20 or 30 words, share someone else's content that they've already been paid to create, that's 1,600 words long, and get the majority of the benefit for it. And what I'm talking about is not creating content, but curating content and sharing other people's content. Small and medium businesses, 55% can't produce enough custom content, meaning they physically can't do it. It's not possible to do enough. 39% don't have enough time or money for blogging. I think a lot of people here fall into that category. It's probably much higher for real estate agents because obviously time and money are two things that are in short supply when you're running a sole proprietorship or a small business like ours. Creating quality content is expensive and time-consuming and contributes to your me refrain in social media. As well, you're focusing on yourself inherently by blogging, right? It's about yourself and your personal experiences and all that kind of thing. So it's time-consuming, probably doesn't get the amount of interest or traffic unless you're such a quality writer that you can compete with the blogs that are coming out from 1,000 other real estate sources that are more highly trusted and more highly regarded than you are. You're spending a lot of time creating that content. You're getting less traffic than those other sites would get. Why not just curate the content from them, share it in your newsfeed, and get most of the results for having tracked down and found those great pieces of content. Content marketing and curating creates massive buzz, consistent referral traffic, as well as drives leads and sales. And you don't need to write it all yourself. Put it this way, you know, Home and Garden Television is putting out information about the real estate business. Is my real estate article really going to be better than Home and Garden Television's? Is mine going to be better than the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times or CNN or any of the big news outlets? Probably not. I'm a real estate agent. I'm not out there doing a journalistic research project and then coming out with a 1,600-word blog article because that's my job. So you're doing almost certainly a worse job than other people are, and then you're publishing it out to your network of people after you've spent a ton of time doing it, getting poorer results because the content is poorer. I think it's just great to put out curated content from other sources and you probably get 80–90% of the benefit. You have better content. It takes much less time. You can do it in half an hour, an hour a day, and stay consistent. It's much easier than imagine writing a blog article every day. It's preposterous.
For 1,600 words. And somebody has a good question or a comment here, you know, isn't blogging good for SEO? And it is, you know, blogging does help SEO, but as Sean has been talking about, you know, it can be very time consuming, and I'm not sure if you saw the example earlier when Sean did a simple Google search of his name, and the very first thing that comes up is social media for the search results. So social media has huge SEO powers, probably even more so than blogging does these days.
Yeah, and you can also feed your Facebook through to static pages on your website, which is going to create an SEO impact as well. And additionally, for the vast majority of us, you are never going to compete in SEO. Like, if I've done this, I'm in a big market. It's tough in Toronto to compete for sure, but just by blogging the heck out of your page, most of the people on this call are never going to see the top of page one. Like, it is never going to happen, no matter how long you consistently blog for and pay people to do your SEO and all that kind of thing. And if you have, that's great. And I would be really interested to hear from people who have had any sort of success in terms of the number of leads. But I would be more interested to have those same people take a legit and honest assessment of the number of hours they had put in to creating that content and then dividing what they made over that time period. And I bet you it's less than the target salary or target rate that you pay yourself for your time. It's just very time consuming. The only one thing that you could potentially do, which sort of would work is to have a ghostwriter write your blog articles on your behalf. That could be good, but it gets expensive doing that. If the person's good enough to be writing on the topic of real estate, it's going to be not cheap for something that you would be proud to put up on your website. So, I mean, that's an option, and depending on the amount of volume that you're doing in terms of your business, that could be something to look at. If you've got money to throw around, then that could be a great way to do it. But like I said, I'm not saying never blog. I'm saying all the rage about blogging, you need to consider your options before you sit down and go, okay, I'm going to spend 2 or 3 hours a day writing a blog. I'll just show you here. Some of you can see this. I'm not going to go through them, but these are the top 10 best performing posts for real estate professionals that we've posted in the last, I believe, month or so. And you can see a lot of them are not specifically about real estate in the sense that you might imagine. You can share content from all over the place, and you look down that wall, there are lots of sources there that are not even real estate sources. So it really opens up the playing field in terms of what you can share and what you can post and all that kind of thing, which gives you a lot more to work with. We do really well with, these are results from City Blast, we do extremely well with charity, like our Habitat for Humanity and Easter Seals posts, and some of those other ones do extremely well. Polls and quizzes, humor, inspirational quotes, tips for living well. So, and these are probably things you would never blog about. I doubt you would blog about charity. You may, but most people in the real estate business are sitting there, racking their brain about what they're going to write about because they think it needs to be something about the market or ROI or how to list and win and all this kind of thing. It doesn't necessarily need to be about that stuff. Truth number 5, you should market to your friends. So we've talked about this quite a bit already, but a lot of people say, I don't want to market to my friends. I want to explain to you what you're actually saying, because I think a lot of people say that and they don't really think it through. And I'm going to think it through for you right here. City Blast agents, this is just our members, so this probably is comparable in results to anybody who's managing their social media well. City Blast agents average an extra $8,500 a year via social media, helping their own friends and followers. So we have data which supports that this works. For starters, if you're going to make $8,500 more in a year by marketing in social media to your friends and followers, that's something to consider, mainly because if you think about it, would you pay Facebook $8,500 a year to have an account? If Facebook came to you and said, hey, by the way, we're changing the rules at Facebook and Facebook's now $8,500 a year, I bet you there would be not one single person on this call right now who would remain on Facebook. But that's exactly what you're doing if you're not using Facebook for your business. You're paying $8,500, call it, in opportunity cost by not getting deals off of your Facebook wall. And I was able to do well in excess of that, and many of you would be able to do well in excess of that. And the opportunity cost is just too great to not use Facebook to generate those leads. Facebook's awesome for a number of reasons. They're staying consistently top of mind with your friends and followers about what sort of business you're in, and just the fact that you exist, period. So people remember to call you when they have that buying or selling conversation and they decide to do a deal. Plus, if you're consistent and you're doing it day after day and week after week, etc., you're going to be in the right spot when people decide, hey, you know what, I'm looking for some real estate information. Boom, there you are, right in the right place. And the trick is to do it with inbound marketing, added value content, content that other people like and appreciate, rather than just going me, me, me. You're not going to annoy people when you're posting great content about the market and things that are going on. Did you want to add anything to that? I can show on my wall.
I totally agree. My husband and I own a business totally not related to real estate, and I can't tell you how much business and that opportunity cost that we have through Facebook alone. It's immeasurable almost.
Yeah, it's massively powerful. This is my Facebook wall, and you can see here, I'm showing you examples here so you can see what inbound marketing looks like, and we're going to talk a bit more about it in a minute, but you can see it's not annoying content. What NYC restaurant menus look like 100 years ago versus today? My City Blast social media expert posted this on my wall. It's not necessarily about real estate. It's sort of civic and focused on the city, etc., but it's not about real estate. Here's me going to a concert. Then you've got a real estate poll. Are you currently seeking a new home? How many bedrooms is your minimum for making a house purchase? Leave a comment below, and you've got people talking about that down here. 10 of New York's most surprising wine lists, another one that's cool and kind of about restaurants and all that kind of stuff. Do you have a property inspection toolkit? 9 must-haves to get you prepared. So you're trying to keep a curated content feed that's broadly about real estate but is of interest and value to other people and is not going to annoy the heck out of them. So these are just some examples here, and we'll talk a bit more about that as well.
Yeah, and somebody, had said, hey, I'm not getting any acknowledgement on my Facebook post, and, that one of those samples that Sean just showed where he asked a specific question, that's a great way to get engagement on people on post is to ask a question. I mean, look at, hey, this is cool, great article, that's one of the ways that I know City Blast incorporates into their posts to increase engagement and acknowledgement of what is on your feed.
Oh yeah, totally. There's a number of rules, and I'm not going to get into those now because we actually have another presentation that deals with this completely called The Anatomy of a Perfect Post. And maybe, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but maybe we can come back and do that in the future together.
Absolutely.
But in The Anatomy of a Perfect Post, we talk about all the specific things you should do in a real estate post to get the highest engagement. Ask questions. Make sure to have a call to action, use a big and beautiful photo, create mystery, and on and on and on. Like your own post. There's a whole bunch of different things that you do. If you want to check out what we do, certainly City Blast offers a 2-week free trial. I'll give you a bit of info on that at the end, but we offer a 2-week free trial so you could check us out and even just see what we do and start to get a sense of what a curated feed by a true real estate social media professional looks like, especially when backed by so much data. We're not really guessing at what works. We just follow the trail of breadcrumbs of basically what actually works and generates leads for our clients. So could be something cool to do as a little bit of research. Truth number 6. You should not talk about you. And I kept saying we were going to talk about this, so now we're going to talk about it. This one is the most important one, and a lot of people are failing at this, and I'm not going to go too in-depth on this because, again, we have a whole other presentation. Some of you have seen it, which is about this topic, how to market yourself on Facebook without annoying your friends and family. But this is the one major takeaway from this section. Social media is like a social event. Act as you would at a party where you want everyone to like you. So one of the things that people do is they talk about me, me, me. I'm the #1 agent in the city. I just listed 4 properties last month and sold 2 of them over asking. If you want to sell your property, call me. Here's my phone number and here's my email. Well, that's annoying. Let's imagine this in context. Let's imagine you showed up at a party, okay? We're going to use the 2 different types of content, and you're going to immediately see the difference between the 2 and why it's ridiculous to use that type of content in social media. Social media is like a social event. People are there to network around and talk about funny things and kind of shoot the breeze. It's like a party. And imagine you walked into the party and you walked up to someone and you said, hi there, I'm the #1 agent in the city. I just listed 4 properties last month and sold 2 of them over asking. I'm the best. If you want to use me, here's my card. My phone number and email are on there. Well, it was nice to meet you. See you later. And you kept walking around the party and talking to people like that. It would be ridiculous. You would not.
Kick you out.
Yeah, like you would be the most annoying person at the party. And yet people do that on social media all day long because they don't get it that it's the same thing. And imagine this approach instead. You walk into the party and you walk up to someone and you go, hey there, how you doing? Good. hey, did you just see this article that came out in the local newspaper about the top 10 fastest appreciating neighborhoods in the city? You'll never guess what number one was. It was crazy. What's number one? Right? Now you've got a conversation going. Hey, did you see this thing that came out in Home and Garden Television about like the largest celebrity homes? No. What was you'll never guess who had the biggest celebrity home, right? This is like stuff that's about real estate. It shows that you're knowledgeable about the real estate industry, and it's of interest to other people, and it's not going me, me, me. And guess what? That person's going to stand there and talk to you about real estate on and on and on and on and on. And you're going to be that person at the party, and we're at the metaphorical party of Facebook. You're going to be that person at the party who's got all the little circle of people around them, and they're talking about some subject matter of interest to everybody. And people like them, they trust them, they think they're knowledgeable, they are not annoyed by them. You do not want to talk about you in social media, and this is called inbound marketing. And it's the golden key that's going to unlock your ability to generate leads from your friends and family and followers and everybody without annoying anybody, and generate goodwill, knowledge of your business, trust in you, people will like you, etc. Earning the attention of prospects and drawing customers to your website by producing content customers value. One criticism of inbound marketing is the time and effort required to create content. Nothing comes for free. We're going to talk about a solution to that. You can probably guess what it is in a minute, which is you should outsource. So this is the last one, and this one I find is a one that a lot of people are coming around to now. In the early days of social media, I found it to be a lot like, you know, I don't know what to compare it to, but where people would have like sort of a mysticism about it, and it would be like this great understandable thing that was out there in the ether, and you just kind of threw stuff at the wall, and you know, you did whatever you thought felt good and all that kind of thing. And we've moved past that. Social media has been around a long, long time now. I mean, most people started adopting social 7, 8 years ago. We're like well into the lifespan or the maturity of social media. We have data. We know what works. We know what doesn't work and all that kind of thing. And a lot of speakers are coming around now to this concept that you should be outsourcing your social media. So it used to be that people would recommend spending, you know, an hour a day on your Facebook marketing, and you get out there and you go to all the trusted sources around and you find the best article, and then, you know, you come up with a crafty little thing and ask a great question at the top of it, and, you know, all that kind of thing. And I think in our business we realize we don't have an hour a day. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't probably have an hour a week, let alone an hour a day, to spend on a new marketing initiative. Outsourcing has become massively popular. Our business is evidence of that. We're the largest social media management company in the world by number of clients, the largest in the real estate industry with 7,500 clients under management. We are kind of at the forefront of this, obviously, but sitting there doing it yourself, I mean, once again, what do you pay yourself for an hour? Let's think about that, and then let's see how much time you're spending doing your social media every week. It really starts to get up there. It's a great, great way to generate leads and to make money, but so is door knocking, and so is cold calling, and so is delivering flyers, and we're, as real estate agents, I like to say we're the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. We have to do everything, right? You're driving clients around, you're at the open house, you're preparing a deal, you're back to the office, you're picking up the kids, you got to drop them off, now you got an evening showing. It's like on and on and on and on and on. And there are tons of great marketing strategies, this being one of them, but you just don't have the time to do them all yourself. And so outsourcing is something that you absolutely should be considering, not just in social media, but more broadly. But I feel like social media is an area where a lot of people are really starting to turn the corner and go, you know what, this is something that somebody else should be handling for me. And obviously I make no bones about the fact that we agree with that. The whole business was predicated around the fact that I discovered this essentially when I started doing this myself. I was marketing myself through Facebook. It was taking me all kinds of time. I hired a social media assistant to help me. Other agents asked me to help them. I had my social media assistant helping them, me and a bunch of people, and now it's grown to thousands of clients all across North America. This is definitely something to consider, is getting this off your plate. You can wind up with a very robust presence, as we talked about here. When I Googled myself, it's no longer good enough to just have your own personal real estate website. You're missing a massive component of your online presence, way more than half. Your website is not even close to half of your online presence, not even remotely close. I would suggest it's probably 10 or 20% in terms of the amount of impact that you can have is your personal website. You need to have social, because social gets you out there and talking to people and puts you in the public eye. And also, look how much of even your personal search results that come up for you are dominated by your social. Your social is extremely important. Your website gets one link, your social is going to have 5 or more on your first page. So absolutely important. Is it too time-consuming? Probably for a lot of people. Yes, some people will do it themselves, but other people should definitely consider having someone do it for them, someone who is potentially better at doing it, is going to be more consistent. Doesn't work if you only do it once. You need to do it on and on and on and on and on and on and on. You need to just make a commitment. You wouldn't have your website up for a day and then take it back down and gauge the results. Well, social is the same, except for social is always evolving, so you need to have something up every day or up every other day, and on and on and on with consistency. And you can see here some quotes from some pretty big names. Realtors' marketing activities should be outsourced when there are not enough resources to adequately manage the activities, or if one won't produce a high-quality product. In this case, the resource is often time, but also money. Outsource social media, absolutely. As a broker, I constantly remind agents to engage at activities that generate income. Social media brings in sales. Hiring someone to handle your social media frees up time to handle money-making tasks. So this is becoming a very sort of popular opinion now, which is, I think, great, because it's sort of been something that was on the back burner for a long time. And obviously, City Blast solves this problem for the real estate industry. So did you want to
yeah, I was just going to say, you know, the consistency is key there, because as Sean said, you know, at a minimum, you know, you're looking at an hour a day to try and manage your social media postings, and you'll get burnt out on that real fast. So you might do it for a day and then another time in the week, but soon some other activity will take precedence over that, and if you're not staying consistent with your social media marketing, that's where you're really missing out. And so outsourcing and using a service such as City Blast to do it for you makes absolute sense for, you know, busy agents and in today's market.
Yeah, the biggest problem is this has sort of been sprung on people. It's like the websites were before. You know, people resisted it, agents resisted it and said, oh, I don't need one, I don't need one, I don't need one. Oh, crap, I need one. And this has been sprung on you again, and it's going to continue to happen. Technology keeps moving forward, but social media is the new website, essentially. You need to have social media. So either you're doing it yourself now and doing a good job of it, or you're going to commit to doing it yourself and do it every day or every other day, or you need to get someone to do it for you. I'm just going to let you know, and then let's do some questions. We've got about 10 minutes left. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yep. Plenty of time for Q&A.
Yeah, I'm just going to let you know we have worked out a deal for a 2-week free City Blast trial. So there's all kinds of good stuff here. You got a 2-week free City Blast trial. Try us out. If this is something where you're like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to stay consistent, we will start working for you for the first 2 weeks for free, just to show you how good we are and what we do and the fact that we stay on the ball. So we're offering a 2-week completely free trial of our service at cityblast.com. And if you also use the promotional code AMM, you can see it on the screen there, we're going to give you 20% off for life. Now, when I started managing people's social media accounts, I was charging them $1,500 a month. City Blast charges $60 a month, and with the discount it goes down to $48. That's like $1.50 a day to have this completely off your hands and have your complete social and online presence taken care of. So you'll have your website and you'll have all your social media accounts managed for you. We do your Facebook fan page, your Twitter, and your LinkedIn. We keep them all up to date for that one price, $48 a month. And getting started is super easy. It's just like when people used to meet me at a coffee shop and tell me how they wanted their service managed. You simply tell us how often you want us to post, what geographical market you're focused on, like what city or town. We cover any market all across North America. So you tell us how often to post, what geographical market you want your content focused on, and then you choose from all the different 19 styles and types of content that we provide, and that's it. Once you're set up, you set it and forget it. We are going to post articles, videos, listings, information out to your Facebook, Twitter, Facebook fan page, LinkedIn, and it's all included for like $1.50 a day. So, you know, if you're spending an hour a day doing it, or you could outsource it to people who've done this, you know, closing in on 2 million times, I think that your time is probably worth more than that $1.50 a day. Maybe we can do some Q&A and then wrap it up.
Absolutely. A few minutes Q&A. I know we've had a lot coming through, so thanks everybody for your participation and engaging with your questions. One of the questions I saw repeatedly was about a fan page versus a personal page or personal profile. Do you recommend people have both and post on both?
Yeah, I mean, I recommend both. To me, I prefer the personal page. You can see here, this is my personal page. It's got like me at a concert, and then right after it's got real estate information, and then something about the market, and then real estate, and then me landing in Chicago, here me taking a funny picture in New York. It's all blended in together so that people are getting a sense of kind of who I am. Now, if you want to separate the two out, absolutely, there's nothing wrong with doing that. I would recommend that you sort of give a preference to having a personal page if you're not going to do both, but certainly I think doing both is acceptable and is a great practice as well. And you definitely can get more salesy on your fan page if you want and if you feel that that's an important part of your business. And you know, maybe even though I post listings on my wall and I treat them like content on my personal wall, maybe you don't want to do that, and that's a personal choice. The fan page is a great place to post listings.
Very good.
Let me just actually, talking about listings really quickly, I just want to show you something cool. City Blast, as I said, does that, right? We post listings out onto other people's accounts, and I want to encourage you, even if you don't use City Blast, to use that approach of sharing listings with other people, and I'll show you why. It's really incredible. Here are some past listings that I've posted out, and these results are somewhat typical in the Toronto market. Look what happens when I shared my listings in. So I submitted my listings into City Blast, and the City Blast experts posted them out onto the Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn accounts of all the other clients of City Blast throughout the Toronto market. Look at this, 125,000 views, 1,000, this is views on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. 1,050 unique visitors came to actually view the listing on the site. 63,566, 75,621, and on and on. The amount of extra traffic you can generate to listings is staggering by sharing it out to other people's accounts. So definitely, if you have an aversion to the concept of listings and social media, give it a good think, because you may have just been told that by somebody who is not really familiar with the real estate business, doesn't know what the opportunity is, doesn't know how to market a listing as a piece of content. Obviously, this is more than double the clicks that it got through MLS alone. Obviously, 1,000 people didn't think that this listing was a bad piece of content. They clicked through and read it 1,000 times, right? 500 and 600 people. So listings can be great content, and we've seen that over and over and over again. So it's something that you definitely should consider, is posting listings and sharing your listings with other people to post out like we do.
And what about engagement on the post, Sean? Do you feel that if you're not getting engagement on the post, is it simply maybe you need to broaden your audience, or is it topics that people aren't interested in? What would your feedback be on that?
Yeah, try different topics. Try using different styles of images. Changing the images is great. Try posting at different times of day. We're really fortunate because we have a really robust tracking mechanism, and what we do and what you should emulate if you're going to do it on your own, what we do is we post and test. So our experts will post a piece of content out. We track the clicks, likes, comments, and shares, and then we see, okay, if we post for this person at this time, is it better, or at this time, is it better? And we adjust the timing of the posts and the style of the posts and the type of posts and what we're putting in them. Question marks, calls to action like here where it says leave a comment below. Do we have that? Do we remove that? What kind of images are we using for this person? And we actually are doing that using humans, but also we're getting feedback through our software, which tells us how to do our posting better for each individual person. And you're going to want to do something similar. Now, unfortunately, you can't see how many clicks you're getting, and this is a problem. So I've got like 4 comments and some likes here and whatever on this post, which is reasonable. It's okay. But check this out. So here is something to remember, and really remember this as you're going along. 90%, literally 90% of your engagement comes from clicks. And you're going to get a ton of clicks which are not going to show up. You're going to feel like, oh, I got a couple of comments and some likes. Well, I'm not really doing that well. I'm not getting engagement. That's not true. Take whatever you get, and we've known this trend is across the board. We see this everywhere. It's about 90%. So you can take whatever clicks, shares, and likes you got, count them up, and then multiply that by 10. And that's really how many people engaged with your post. And the hidden 90% is like the iceberg under the water. That's where most of the mass of your marketing effort is going. But a lot of people will just click and read your article and then move on with life without ever saying, hey, great article, I have a question or whatever. And you're going to want to remember that as you're going along. But certainly, increasing your reach is great. Add people. When you meet new people, add them on Facebook. When you're out networking, try to get more people talking with you on Facebook, and start treating Facebook as a place where you are going to use it as a communications media, and start to incorporate it into your business from that perspective. There's tons of ways to get great results through Facebook and to increase your engagement, and they're all sort of obvious, but also they just take experimentation and time and all that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Just to clarify, a couple people are asking if you're a loan officer on the call. Mortgage Mingler is the site for mortgage professionals. And then somebody else is asking, is there overlapping content among people in the same geographical area? And obviously, not everyone is going to choose the same 19 categories that are available or the same listings. So can you expand on that a little bit, Sean?
Yeah, so there's 2 things. First of all, one, you have a real human being on that given day who is sourcing and posting an article to you. So it's not like duplicate content going out to lots of people. Plus, we have markets where we have hundreds of agents in it, and there's, if this was a problem, it would be very obvious. We are not posting any sort of similar content to people in the same markets. You also have all these different styles of content to choose from. As we said, you choose your market, you choose how often you want us to post, and you choose where you want us to post to. But one thing I will say is this. It is conceivable that my social media expert and yours will choose the same article, just like you and I could choose the same article if we were managing it ourselves. If something comes out in the local newspaper and it's like the greatest article in the history of real estate articles, I'm probably going to choose it and post it out and go, hey, did you see this new article that just came out? It says blah, 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 blah. And you may choose the same article and post it out. The bigger question here is why you're worrying about what someone else is doing. If someone else has business cards, are you going to not have business cards? No. Business cards are a good idea. Lawn signs, all these things are great ideas. Doing the best content marketing you can do is a great idea. And you should be thinking about yourself and not worrying about the Joneses, and also not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Even if you and that other agent have 5 friends in common, that's only 5 people who are even seeing that you're both using a content marketing strategy, and 4 out of those 5 people haven't even noticed yet, or will never notice. And what you need to focus on doing is just connecting with the people who are in your network. So the short answer is no, the content is not duplicated across multiple people. Your social media expert is posting out individualized content just specifically for you. But the broader question, or the broader answer, is I think that's a bit of a misplaced focus, because I think the subtext of that question is, oh, I'm worried about what other people are doing. And I think you should worry about what you're doing. You should have a great website. You should have great social media. You should have great articles that are appearing and all that kind of thing. So if you're going to have us do it, we don't duplicate the content across you and other people. If you're going to do it yourself, and you see even if you see someone else post a great article, post the same article. Take the same article and post it out to your people if it's great. Because there's lots of people who are going to see it coming from you, and if it's a great article, it's a great piece of content to share.
Absolutely. Great point. Well, we are at the top of the hour, everybody. I know there's a lot of questions that came through, and unfortunately we could stay here probably for 3 or 4 more hours answering all of them, but we all have obligations. And if you do have a question that you need help with in relation to today's call or City Blast, go ahead and just go to the Agent Mastermind group on Facebook, and you can post it there. And I think, Sean, you and your team are on that group, on that private group, right?
Yeah, we're going to jump in there and chat with you guys now.
Awesome, very good. Yeah, so just hop on to facebook.com/groups/Agent Mastermind. If you're not participating in there, it is free for all of the agents on the call. And thanks so much, Sean. Great stuff. Definitely, squashing some of the myths that are out there, and I learned a lot of valuable information myself. So appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me on. If you need someone on the phone, you can just go to cityblast.com as well. Our phone number is on the site, 1-888-712-7888, or you can email us info@cityblast.com. Again, we've got a free 2-week trial. Just go to cityblast.com and choose Try Us Now and follow the steps. And 20% discount for life when you use the AMM promo code. We would love to have you come and check us out and see what we do when we're employing a lot of this data and a lot of these strategies on your behalf. And we'd love to have you on and check us out.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, perfect. Thanks again, Sean, and thanks everybody for taking time out of your day to join us on another live Agent Mastermind class. We appreciate each and every one of you being here, and we'll see you again next week for another live one. Thanks.